JJ Redick was asked in a pregame presser if he was going to consult with his assistants a little bit more, and he got offended by that and kind of stormed out of the meeting.
Yeah.
And Dragonfly Jones came out and said,
Friend of the show.
yeah, so quote, you can't be the smug, know-it-all new coach, and then every coach, whoever schemed against Rudy, did a better job than you. Answer those questions at the podium, bro.
Yeah. So
So, yeah.
so here's the deal. So I'm also not going to so I'm big on, and we can take Dragonfly's tweet off. I'm big on, this is going to sound silly, just being honest, no matter how it looks or if people think there's an agenda there or whatever it is. So over the last couple years, when I have criticized the Lakers coaching, it hasn't been to protect LeBron. It hasn't been because I was looking for a fall guy. It was because I thought Darvin Ham was, objectively speaking, a bad coach. And I thought he put them in bad strategic and tactical and lineup situations, and it hurt their chances of succeeding. That's why I criticized him. I am not going to, all of a sudden, because they lost a series that I thought they should win, act like I don't think JJ Redick over the course of the year did an excellent job. I think he did. I think JJ Redick is a really sharp coach. I think there are a lot of major positives for JJ Redick, from a work ethic, from attention to detail, from tactics, from understanding the kind of newer elements of what you would call analytics, but it's really just kind of smart math on things. All of those things I give him high marks for. With that said, my concern about JJ coming in, and you guys can remember this, you can check the tape, was actually a personality concern, which was, I saw how JJ dealt with criticism when he was in the media. I saw how how online he was, and reading mentions and reading what was being written. And I was worried that when times got tough, that JJ Redick wouldn't react well to that. The first tough times he really had, the first real criticism he got his entire tenure, was after he did something literally no coach has ever done in basketball history: play all 5 starters, play the same 5 guys all 24 minutes in a playoff game for the second half. He got some criticism for it, and then also was asked about it pregame, and immediately became a bit of a petulant child. And that was the concern. Here is the other concern. And this is one JJ is not going to like to hear. But the record speaks for itself. JJ Redick, his entire basketball life, gets tight in big spots. At the peak of his basketball career, when he was the best player in college basketball at Duke, go look at those tournament stat lines. And you might say this is ridiculous. Why are you bringing up JJ Redick's, 03 or 06 NCAA tournament and talking about the Lakers? I'll explain. But JJ Redick, he was an unbelievable college basketball player who was not a very good NCAA tournament player. Was on 4 Duke teams, any of which could have won the national championship, got popped in the Sweet 16 almost every year, made it to one Final Four, and it wasn't like, oh, JJ was great. No, that's not how it went. Go back and look if you don't remember. Then, as Jerry West reminded him when JJ did the plumbers and firemen bit, JJ in the pros, as really good as he was later in his career, was not a good playoff performer. So why am I bringing that up now? He strikes me as a guy who gets a little tight, who's wound a little tight. And when you have on the TNT broadcast the sideline reporter who never, that's like the opposite of the take industry, is the sideline reporter. When you have the sideline reporter telling us, ooh, JJ was wound up when we met with him before the game. He was on edge. And then when you have JJ storming out of a press conference, when you have in the game, he has committed before the game, I'm not going to play Jackson Hayes. But then all of a sudden you are just getting your teeth kicked in on the offensive glass. And you're like, well, I've already said I'm not playing Jackson Hayes. So I guess Maxi Kleba, who again, I think could have been useful for the Lakers because he's a big guy who can shoot and has a relationship with Luka. The problem is he hadn't practiced or played with him once ever. You put him in like to coach who got a little tight. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard my dog freaking out. It's a coach that he got a little tight. And so I think that if I am giving JJ Redick advice for next year and for the rest of his coaching career, because I do think he has a lot of the talent to be a really good head coach. And Luka said great things about him afterwards. Said it reminded him of being back in Europe with the style of coaching and the attention to detail, all that. It honestly is, as silly as it sounds, just chill a little, man. Just breathe and chill.
Well,
And
I think
go
that
ahead.
also. I think he was also in his head about making that decision, and like he's like, I don't want to call it embarrassed, but like the fact that he's being questioned on it, he just can't stand it. He walked away.
I also think
Sorry for the birds, by the way, guys. I didn't
Oh,
know you
I
guys might
loved
be able
it.
to hear
I was
some.
I I
Got some
I was
Snow
gonna
White stuff
ask you
going on
about
over.
that. I think it sounds
Yeah.
delightful. I was like, oh man, this is a nice little background to the pod. Just chirping Southern California birds.
Right.
But so here's the thing. Almost assuredly, I can't bet this, but I would bet almost anything that Redick had no idea that no coach ever had played all five guys for the second half of a playoff game. Like when he was doing it, like why would he? I didn't know it. You know what
Right.
I mean? The
Like we made history.
right, correct. I'm sure he knew it was rare. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unorthodox,
Like never
but
before.
no
Like
team
not one
ever
time.
in basketball history.
Right.
And so then when they fall apart at the end, and then he finds out I'm the first guy to ever do this, I bet he felt a little boxed in and maybe even a little embarrassed. And so I think he is wound a little tight. And I think that unfortunately manifested itself in big spots in his playing career. And now, first run in the playoffs, manifested itself a bit in the first really big spot of his coaching career. That's all. It's not a lifelong indictment. It just is what it is.